coming home, readjustments of ex-offenders to the free world. And of course, Pastor KWalker has given us some excellent information in reference to that. And now, of course, Pastor Walker, what we'd like for you to do is to identify some of these issues that sort of keep these individuals from being able to become involved in society and et cetera. And I think that if we can do that over this segment, then we can call it an end for an excellent show, I believe, today.
All right. Well, one of the things, and I had mentioned this on another show that we had done together, Dr. Haney, and that was the fact that individuals are being released from state custody and incarceration, I should make it clear, and they don't have an identification. They release people out. In a lot of situations, I have had guys come into my program. They will release them from a prison somewhere in West Tennessee or wherever, and they'll put them on the bus, no identification whatsoever. They got a parole certificate in their hand or whatever personal belongings they may have, and they'll put them on the bus. They won't inform us that they're on their way, that they've been released or anything, and they'll send a lot of these people to Nashville that have never lived in Nashville or what have you, and then they'll get to the bus station and they're just lost. We don't know they're coming. They're here. They don't know what to do. Then they don't have any identification. They're in a bad situation right there. And that's when I say victim. And people say, Dr. Haney, well, he's just guy, he's soft on crime, he's been to prison, he's been through that. I'm not soft on crime. You know, I think for an individual commits a crime, he ought to pay the penalty for the crime. I mean, I was a crook, I did crimes, I paid the penalty for it, I've overcome all of that, I triumphed over all that stuff. And now it's important that people understand that individuals need an opportunity. People need a chance. People need a chance to overcome their past failures, their past faults, and make that adjustment back into society. Because you got to realize, regardless of the crime that the individual committed, they still got some people that love them. Society as a whole might not love them, but they got some family members that do love them. They got some friends that still love them and that are willing to help them make that adjustment. The problem is they get out, they no IDs, and then you go to a company trying to get a job, and then you got somebody with a shady past themselves or a shady present for that matter, and then they saying, well, we got to do a background check on you, and they got to run back, and because you got something in your background, they're going to penalize you for that. In terms of saying, well, since you committed a crime in 1988, now you can't feed your children in 2006. What kind of sense does that make? You know, my children are hungry. They need to eat just like anybody else's children. So why can't I be afforded the opportunity to contribute to society? But at the same time, you penalize me, you turn me into a victim, and then when in frustration of trying to find a job, trying to fit back into society, when I get frustrated and revert back to my old ways because I have to live, I have to wear clothes, I have to eat, you know, I have to provide for my family. So when I go back, when I try your way, and you want to accept me when I'm trying it your way, then I go back to my way. Now you want to criticize and condemn me for falling into the trap that you dug and set for me. What am I supposed to do in a situation like that? It's hard out here for people that have a criminal past to make that adjustment back in society. And society needs to realize that. And we need to stop saying victim, 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 victim. What about the ones that suffer from the crime? Well, I have sympathy for the ones that suffer from the crime. No ifs and buts about that. But you take the individuals that committed the crime, they went through this the justice system. They stood before a judge. The DA stated his case, made his claim. The judge, the jury went forth. They sentenced that person. They convicted him. They sentenced him. That person went into the system. That person did their time. They have satisfied the judgment of society that society placed upon them. Now they're ready to come back into society. Then why do I get a life sentence for a 2-year conviction? Why is it that I can't vote? Why is it that I got to come out here and struggle trying to get identification? I got to come out here struggle trying to get a job, you know, just to be able to do all the necessary things or all the essential things that everybody in a free world society have been afforded the right to do. Why can't I have that? You know, just because I committed a crime one time doesn't mean, Dr. Haney, that I'm going to come out and do the same thing over again. But you increase my chances of recommitting or reoffending when you consistently put roadblocks and stumbling blocks in my pathway, when you systematically set me up to fail.
And each time you fail, you go back into the system and you cause the government, the state, more money because
More
now
money.
they have to, you can't be a taxpayer or anything, and you're just there, warehoused again. Well, now, would it make sense for the state to start thinking in terms of using some of these individuals? That is, create some special kinds of programs for them so that they might be able to use the manpower, whatever they were doing when they were incarcerated. You know, they got some kind of job doing now. If they were working in inventory and et cetera while they were incarcerated, then the state ought to try to create a situation so that they could keep them in inventory while they're out now and pay them and some money for what they're doing, because state, not because it's giving them anything, but because they're fulfilling a needed service to the state. I mean, does that make sense?
I mean, that would be a good thing, but the only way it will work is if the state really cared. But by the fact that the state is not really caring about the individual that's coming out of the prison system, you know, we can throw the political smoke screens all we want to and pretend or make believe that we care, but in reality, look at the things that are in place. Look at the structure. Look at the systems that are in place. The mouth will say we care, but the systems that are in place is indicative of the fact that we don't care. We don't care what happens to you. You get out. You know, if you find a job, you're fine. When if you don't, so what? You know what I'm saying? And there's companies out here that, you know, give people an opportunity. I mean, come on, don't continue to penalize people. Help these people to contribute to society. And, you know, because we sit up, like you said, Dr. Haney, we sit up, it costs the state of Tennessee money to incarcerate people. And there are a lot of people that are incarcerated now that really don't need to be incarcerated. They could be out here contributing to society if society will remove some of these roadblocks out of the way and some of these stumbling blocks, some of these obstacles, and allow these people to come out and become productive members of our society. That's what it's all about. It's about helping people. You know, the families need to help. You know, churches need to get involved and help. I mean, Chief Ron Surpass, he always calling out to the church community, shows up at the IMF and wants the community help, you know, help the crime and all that stuff, but yet when you call them, they don't respond and stuff like that. You know, I had people try to rob a few of the people in my recovery ministry house, called the police, they pointed out the guys, but because they found out these guys had came out of prison, they checking their ID cards, man. I mean, that's sickening right there, man. You know, that's enough, man, to make you want to fight right there. You call somebody to report a crime against you, and then they taking your ID, sitting in the police car and running a record check on you, man. You know what I'm saying? And if the police department, they don't like it, I got to report an officer's name that did it. So, you know, the thing is, Dr. Haney, people need to be afforded an opportunity to make that adjustment back into society. And if you're not gonna allow me to make that adjustment back into society, then don't stand up on the bandwagon and start criticizing and condemning me when I fail at a system that you sit in place that's designed to make me fail. Help me. I'm coming home. I'm coming out of this prison system, and I need some help. I need the churches to step up. I need civic organizations to step up. I need folks to step up, private citizens. I need them to step up and to help these individuals. You know, I mean, people need, like I said, ID, they need clothes. I mean, people are getting out with nothing. Absolutely.
Been there 10, 12 years and then get out. The only thing they've got is a certificate saying that they've been there.
That's it.
And on a bus ticket.
And once they see the parole off, they don't even have the certificate no more because they turn that in.
He takes that from them, and so there they are out after 15, 10, 5, 2, or whatever, even to go there for 10 months, 5 months. And then to come out under those kind of situations would be quite difficult. But I would imagine if you've been there for 8 or 10, 12 years and then have to come out under those kind of, it's sort of a frightening kind of thing,
Absolutely.
I would imagine.
You come out with nothing, and it's a shame. It's just a shame, and society needs to understand that it's more to the individual because, like I said, Dr. Haney, all the time, we follow the individual from the crime scene through the court system all the way through the doors of the penitentiary, and then we forget about them, not realizing that one day they're coming home, and they could be your neighbor. So how do you want that individual to return back into society? Help the individual, and you can help a family and a whole lot of other situations.
And I guess, Pastor Walker, the only thing we can say is that perhaps people just don't care. But the thing about it, I think that people do care.
Yeah, that's.
And I think people need to be informed. And I think what you've done here, you've made us aware. We've become very, very conscious. in terms of the kind of situations, and I think that we have to have that in order to be able to make any kind of move whatsoever. But I think that if people understand that we're dealing with our own family, because these individuals, I mean, if you were to take a survey, you would find that quite a number of us have individuals who are incarcerated. So these are our people. And of course, let me thank you, and let us encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you, and good morning.